Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an introductory video of my companies that I've been creating in Stormworks over the past few months. I've decided that I wanted to start making YouTube videos on this, and I thought a good first video would be to introduce you to some of the companies and the creations that come along with them. Most of these creations can be found in the workshop. I will put links to the collections inside of my description, but some of these are also not available yet and are still work in progress. To start out with, the big company that essentially owns most of the other companies is BlueHorizons. BlueHorizons itself has essentially no vehicles. BlueHorizons is just the company that manages other companies, and it owns a few of the microcontrollers that are used among almost all companies. The companies owned by BlueHorizons, to start with, for instance, we have Horizons Motors. Horizon Motors specializes in mostly land-based transportation vehicles. This can be from just a regular streetcar, racing cars, semi-trucks, buses, panel vans, pickup trucks, anything, any land vehicle, just regular land vehicle, is made by Horizon Motors. Horizon Motors is actually the company that I started with. It was originally actually called BlueHorizons, but I later decided that BlueHorizons should be the company that manages companies, and then there's a few companies that do their own stuff. Because I found that one company that makes cars and that makes also trains, while in real life it was possible, I didn't like that. The original vehicles from Horizon Motors are the Savannah X series, and some people have already pointed out to me, and I know they're very closely recreated from some of the buckle vehicles from 454 Stormworks. While they do look very similar, and especially the digital display in almost all of my vehicles looks almost exactly the same as his, every vehicle is created from the ground up and not actually a copy-paste. And Savannah X is the only vehicle that is actually a direct recreation from one of his vehicles, and I think one of the generators from a later company. All of the Horizon Motor companies' vehicles use a specialized microcontroller. This microcontroller is also available in the workshop, and essentially puts all controls of a vehicle into a single microcontroller. This makes creating vehicles a very easy task, and makes editing the vehicles into different variations where the engine, for instance, runs slightly differently very easy. The microcontroller has a lot of support for different types of vehicles. It supports from just regular diesel to electric to a hybrid. The only thing that I didn't create for the Horizon Motors controller is the ECU part of it and the steering. Those are from ZE. Originally the trailers were also under Horizon Motors, but those have now been moved onto a new company, which brings me to Horizon Trailers. Horizon Trailers is a fairly simple company. Essentially they own all of the semi-truck trailers, but also just the regular tow hitch trailers. Horizon Trailers has its own microcontroller. Some people have asked me why I don't use the pretty universally used controllers but personally I like to make my own stuff, to make my own controllers. So that is why all of my trailers and cars and anything use my own system. All Horizon trailers are able to be hooked up to any vehicle from Horizon Motors and will work as they're supposed to. Every vehicle has a coupling for lights. It also copies the brakes from the vehicle, because a lot of times when you are using heavy trailers and you brake, your trailer will push you forward and most likely push you out of balance. Some of the bigger trailers also come with their own steering, which makes maneuvering into tiny spaces or just in general a lot easier. Some of the connectors available are the standard tow hitch, the semi-truck connection, and also a gooseneck. Although the gooseneck and the semi-connector are essentially the same connection. They're at the same height and at the same distance from the vehicle. And now if you're driving one of these cars and you happen to get stuck on the road through either falling off a cliff or just a simple flat tire, the MRC will be the one to help you. The MRC stands for Mobile Road Care, but they've also extended themselves into the search and rescue category. The MRC doesn't have any of its own vehicles. It mainly uses modified vehicles to do the tasks they need them to do, like a pickup truck that has been converted to a tow truck, or a semi-truck that has been converted to a big tow truck, this crane, or this man lift. The MRC is also soon gonna get some helicopters once I get around to finishing up another company, and that company is Horizon Avionics. Horizon Avionics is currently not available in the workshop, except for their taxi vehicle. Horizon Avionics is mainly focused on anything air related, from helicopters to aircraft, and maybe a few other VTOLs, jets, anything that goes up in the air is Horizon Avionics. Some vehicles actually planned for release for Horizon Avionics are the VT100 VTOL, with a few variations, being the civilian and the cargo variation, the C2 Hercules, which is a big cargo ship, and also a few smaller prop planes that I have built and want to bring over to the Horizon Avionics company. Now we've had the ground, we've had the air, and then we get to Horizon Bluewaters. Horizon Bluewaters is anything that goes into the sea, any boats, any submarines. Those will be created by Horizon Bluewaters. Horizon Bluewaters is also currently not on the workshop and only has 2 vehicles to its name. Currently there is only a small speedboat, which is available in a light blue, and a Stormworks Coast Guard paint. The Barracuda, which is a small fishing boat. Up next is TERRA. TERRA specializes in material gathering and processing. This goes from digging up and pumping up oil to going into the mines and gathering ores and processing them for sale. TERRA doesn't have a lot of their own vehicles, but they do have vehicles that have been rebranded and also a few modifications, including this crane vehicle and this tanker. TERRA mainly specializes in mass producing all of the materials that are required. To go along with that industrial equipment, we have a mouse. Mouse mainly focuses on manufacturing heavy industrial vehicles and other equipment. From excavators, dump trucks and cranes to small portable generators and also the very big generators. The mouse is almost an unmissable piece within any industrial application. The mouse is mainly based off of the real-life cat with their excavators and other industrial vehicles. Any vehicles that go on the rails are parts of Horizon Railroads. Horizon Railroads is, just like a few others, not available on the workshop yet. This is mostly due to not having rebranded most of the vehicles yet, because a lot of these are still under the Blue Horizon name. Once I rebrand them all, figure out some other changes, because my railroad vehicles are very old and I don't like the look of a lot of them anymore. But once that's done, all of these vehicles will also be available on the workshop under the Horizon Railroads name. Horizon Railroads uses a custom created connector which shares the brakes between all of the carts and has a walkway across it, so you can cross into any cart that is connected to the train. This is mainly useful for long passenger cars where you want to walk all the way through, or if you have carts that are functional and you want to move between them. The last company that isn't on the workshop, and unless there's a lot of requests for it, isn't going to be on the workshop, is the Blue Horizon Military Force. This does cover a lot of vehicles, as I do enjoy making these militarized vehicles. I might make some videos about them, but personally I like having these for myself, and I want to keep my workshop civilian based. So unless there's a lot of requests for these, most of them will not be on the workshop. Blue Horizon Military Force currently specializes in long range attacks. It doesn't have a lot of vehicles for close range, although there is some that can do these roles pretty good, like the ATMC, anti-tank missile carrier, or the FT-1, although the FT-1 is nowhere near done and is still prototype. The Blue Horizon Military Force has a lot of artillery pieces, both cannon-based and missile-based. All of these vehicles can also talk together through radio, which is the MMS system, which will allow you to designate a single target and have all of your vehicles, as long as they're within radio range, shoot at a single target. Any vehicle that has the artillery capabilities will most likely include the MMS system. So there you have it. These are all the companies that I've been building in Stormworks. Let me know in the comments which one you like the most, and if you have any suggestions for future projects. I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel and like this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.